Before we jump in the video, as always, a huge shout out to our Patreon supporting us. We have Teos and Brian. Your support means the world. So grateful to have you as part of the community. If you're interested in joining our Patreon page and supporting the channel and helping us grow and provide new and exciting content and also being a little bit involved in some of the battle reports, check out the link in the video description below and let's jump into this Tyranid Tactica video. Hello everyone, welcome to another Tyranid Tactica video. This one's a little overdue. We're going to be talking about the points updates and a little bit about the minor changes that affected Tyranids with the recent FAQ that dropped at the start of June. So GT 2021 pack has arrived along with all of the points updates. This video will be very similar to the one we did back in January when we had our previous point update. However, I'm not going to go into the full details on the GT 2021 pack as I haven't played it yet. I would like to get a couple missions under my belt before I really talk about all the secondaries and give my thoughts on it. So just there's a few changes there. They are looking quite good for Tyranids, I think, on a whole. A few big changes was the deploy scramblers, was deploy strategic something, but now that one you get points for every table quarter you perform it in, and it's worth 12 points maxing out. So 2 more points, and it's very easy for Tyranids to accomplish, and also I think makes the lictor's job a little bit easier now, being able to get into just table quarters rather than deployment zones. So pretty cool in that. But anyway, let's talk about the details in this video. So we're going to talk about all the points updates that have happened and a little bit on how they're going to affect Tyranid builds and see how it shifts how we play the faction. So right up front, the biggest and I'd say the most awesome change is Swarmlord dropping from 270 points to 240 points. I mean, I'll absolutely take this. In my opinion, he didn't really need a points adjustment, but there is no way I'm going to say no to a free 30 points onto my list. So very awesome to see Swarmlord getting a little bit of a buff in that regard, which is going to tie into my next point. We'll just jump right over to them because they're up front. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's excited about it. Gene Stealers have dropped from 15 points down to 13 points, which is amazing. It's going to make fielding Gene Stealers much more realistic, and going to definitely feature them in a lot more of my list. So if we're looking at a unit of 20 with Gene Stealers, before that would cost you 300 points. Now it's going to cost you 260. So you're saving 40 points there for 1 unit of Gene Stealers plus the 30 from Swarmlord. That's 70 points right there. On top of adding another maxed out unit, you're looking at 110 extra points to spend. Like, that's 2 extra Gaunt units, or Hormagaunts and Termagaunts, so which is awesome. Or even just spending on some little other upgrades, like getting a few things for your Tyrant that you might have wanted. So very exciting to see that. The other thing that I've seen some people discussing about, and it's even something I kind of thought about myself, is running smaller size Gene Stealer units to still get take advantage of things like Asimalic units of 10 or sorry, not 10, like 12 to 13 potentially, and have multiple groups of them running around. So it's going to be interesting to see the play style of that, especially with some of the secondaries changing, especially I never remember the name, the new deploy scramblers, and also the new domination version as well, where if you hold 3 objectives and more than your opponent. So getting first turn would be awesome with these guys, being that they're super fast, obsec, they can zip around the table and for the most part clear off any units holding objectives and start racking up points pretty quick. So really exciting to see Gene Stealers getting a boost like that. Definitely, like I said, going to see them a lot more in my list. So stay tuned for lots of Gene Stealers to come. So definitely going to start playing around with Kraken a bit more. Leviathan has pretty much been my go-to high fleet for quite a long time, and I've had a lot of fun with it, but I think I really need to spend a lot more time with Kraken. It's always fun when I run it, and especially these guys getting the points drop there. They're going to be looking good. Moving to the other HQ unit that got a little bit of an adjustment. Not really sure what the mindset was there. The Tervigon went from 200 points down to 180. Now, it's just for what the poor Tervigon does. It's just, in my opinion, it needed more of a points drop, or even just a bit of a rules update. It's just for what it brings to the table. It's just not cutting it, in my opinion. Having to be really close to Termagants to even renew them, and just for the points cost for it, that's literally all it's doing. And it has to either get in the open following a Termagant unit, or you just have a 180 point unit sitting there, hopefully improving a Termagant unit in the backfield, which is more often than not usually safe for the better part of the game. So I'd really like to see some more rules updates, especially whenever our 9th Codex comes for the Tervagon. I dearly miss the days of 6th edition running Tervagon. So much fun just spewing gaunts forth on the table, but it'll really be interesting to see what happens with the Codex, being that Games Workshop seems to be adding a lot more fluffy rules, making the armies feel very themed to what they're supposed to be, which I think is really a really cool direction that they're going. At least in my opinion, that's kind of how I view it. So very excited to see inevitably what happens with Tyranids. But that is the Tervagon. A bit of a buff, I guess. If you enjoy running them in your local scene and you have some effectiveness with it, you'll definitely be smiling about that, saving 20 points. Then we're moving on to the Trigon Prime. This is another unit that's in the same categories of the Tervagon, in my opinion. He dropped from 190 down to 175. For what the Trigon does, it's an entirely glass hammer. It needs a few things to reliably kill stuff, being it's only the strength 6, tough 6. It's just reliably, it's really hard to pump out the required damage for the points cost of the model. Like for 175 points, you could get bring a Hive Tyrant. I know it's a bit more than that, but you're gonna get way more use in it. So it's just the Trigon is in a weird place right now. It either needs more wounds, or a higher toughness or something like that. It's just, I don't know. It's in rough shape. It's the same category as the Tervagon. It's just there's so many other things for the points that are a much better option. It is fun to run the Trigon, but maybe if there's something that allows it to get more reliably get a charge off or run away, it needs a little bit of a tweaking, I think, rules wise, to really get it where it needs to be. Points updates, or unless it drastically drops like a crazy amount, they're just not going to be worth taking in their current state, which is sad because I love the model. It's my very first monster model I ever painted, and just so cool. I've always really enjoyed the look of the Trigon. Such a fun looking model. Next, we go over into really the only negative end of the update for the Tyranids points wise. It's a Dimicaran, going from 220 up to 255. But being perfectly honest, I really do understand the adjustment with that. It not that it had to be done, speaking as a Tyranid player, but especially as someone who just bought a second one. Well, not just bought, but is just about done painting at the second Dimicaran. But they were absolute blenders, and the double Dimicarans list have performed incredibly well, especially in Kraken. I've yet to get a chance to try it. I'm still going to try it. I mean, even with the points adjustments between, like, say, Swarmlord, or like adding in the unit of Gene Stealers to run alongside them, maybe that is a lot of points to invest in some things flying forward. It's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. So they're still definitely playable. It's not anywhere near the point that they're not worth taking, but it is a bit more of an investment, especially if you're taking two. Again, sad face where I just got my second one, but I get it. So. But there you have it. So that is all the points updates for the Tyranids. So again, we could have gotten a lot worse. I think I'm very happy with how it ended up, especially with Gene Stealers and Swarmlord getting a bit of a big buff there. So yeah, I think we definitely came out on the positive spectrum of this update. So a couple rules, FAQs that have helped us out. The first being that the Blood of Baal exocrine stratagem, the symbiotic devastation. This one's really cool now because you can even use it if you fell back now. So if the exocrine gets engaged, the wording has changed that it just simply counts as standing still. So it doesn't need to like make a normal move or anything like that. It just simply in the shooting phase you use that and it just counts as staying still. So it's amazing. So the exocrine getting tar pitted is no longer as big of a threat. It's less worrying for those of us who find our exocrines getting hit right off the rip early. Now, the one thing that has changed to affect the exocrine as well, coming in from strategic reserve, you always count as moving, and there's been a few little bullet points. You'd have to look at the FAQ yourself for all the major details. I'm not going to read it all line for line, but there's a link in the video description. Even with using stratagems such as symbiotic devastation, you always count as having moved, so there's no way to stay still. So the exocrine coming in strategic reserves has been hit a little bit. Personally, I don't really use it. I find with Symbiotic Devastation anyway, you can position the extra coin as need be for the most part. Again, depends on terrain and what you're playing against, but for me it's not too much of a hit, but for those that really do enjoy putting extra coins in strategic reserves, it does kind of suck in that regard, but yeah, not too bad. So that's pretty much it for the update for points and with the FAQ. Not a ton of rules really changing with Tyranids per se, but obviously the GT 2021 rule secondaries have changed a bunch. The missions haven't been updated at all. It's actually, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the video, but I'll just say it right now. I am kind of ticked about that personally. I would have liked to see like potentially some new deployment zones, some objective placements being switched up, something like that. I think for the price of the book that's coming out, I know depending how resourceful you are, you may not need to buy the book, but I'm someone that likes to have the hard copy on hand, and I really wish they would have updated that. It just, the secondaries got changed. Like, I don't know, it almost feels like they could have just sold us some sticky notes to paste in the current book and bing bang boom, done. But anyway, I do get their business and have to do what they do, but anyway, we'll talk about that in more detail in my official Tyranid Tactica on the updated secondaries for the 2021 pack. So I hope you enjoyed this short little video just outlining the changes and talking about some of the potential updates you'll see with armies. Again, pretty much these three are the big ones, being that you're going to see more Gene Stealers, and going to be interesting to see if there's just large units of 20 coming out again, or if you're going to see smaller units taking advantage of the new secondary rules. So very, very excited about that. Very excited just to get back to gaming. Locally, our lockdown should be clearing up very soon. However, we are allowed to play outside and gather. So potentially you may see some porch hammer outside on the little patio I have there. The table fits right through. Maybe, we'll see this weekend. We'll see if I can arrange something with the work schedule and some of the guys, and I'd love to just get a game in against someone that's not myself. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. I greatly appreciate all of your support so much. Again, if you want to get in on some of the Patreon benefits and get yourself in the army and get a named model after you, you can check out the link in the description below. And there's also some other cool perks, such as getting a Patronic dice. Your support will potentially impact the game for the positive or negative of the Tyranids, because more often than not, Tyranids are out on the battlefield. But thanks again. Every single like and comment means a lot to our growing channel, and we hope to offer some new content very soon, some new formats as we continue to grow and develop upon our community. Any questions you may have for myself about the Tyranids, or any observations you have with this update, I'd love to hear your thoughts and discuss further. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.